I hope the camera is not going to show how schwabaned I am. I mean, like wrinkled. I just woke up this morning and the last thing that was in my mind was ironing. But anyways, ignore if you see any creases. Fellow South Africans, there is something fundamentally unsettling to me, and I'm sure it's something you've thought about as well as a South African. Why the ANC so adamant in not condemning illegal foreigners in the country? Forget the history that their members went in there in Africa, got help, which now they are throwing on our faces and holding us at ransom, with when the rest of South Africa, especially black South Africans, remained behind. Only a handful of people that went out there. And I think the other history that is getting distorted by these so-called African brothers and sisters of ours is that the same South Africans, being the ANC members who went to exile and also crisscross Africa and gotten help, they don't talk about how when we got there, number one, we were in camps. We were not allowed to integrate. We were not allowed to open businesses. We were not even allowed to look at a beautiful girl and say, hey, I would like to have a fluid exchanges with you. We're not allowed to do that. We had our own camp, and if we needed to go to the shop or to town, we needed to seek permission. They don't talk about that. They never do. So, in other words, in as much as your help was conditional, because like any other country, and I don't blame those African countries for doing what they did, because their number one priority is national security. You come from South Africa, from an apartheid state. They don't know what is actually going on up here as well, what your plans might be about the country that you may land up in. So to control you, they will put you in a camp where they know you are locked up there. And if you ever want to come out of the camp, you have to seek permission. They are surveilling you. They're making sure every move you make, it is calculated and it is watched as they give you that sanctuary. And in other incidences, they will train these exiles militarily by giving them arms so that they can go back. Operative word here is go back and fight the apartheid state, while others managed to cross the African continent and ended up in Europe and ended up in America and Russia. When they got there, they did not twiddle their thumbs. They mobilized. That's the second part of our history they do not want to talk about, because it does not suit their agenda. It doesn't suit their propaganda about South Africa, that they mobilized the world against the state of apartheid and the way apartheid was treating black people. So these three things they don't want to talk about. And it looks like the ANC has fallen in the cracks of confusion. Like they don't remember, or maybe those that do remember are no longer here. But we do hear those that survived. They are still alive. They are in the 80s, mid 80s, early 90s, and they're saying things that these Africans are lying about how they helped South Africa. Clearly also, they have bad record of history in those countries. We captured our history perfectly. It might not be that perfect, but we captured our history perfectly. And when it is told by our own grandparents, because that's how history is passed down in the black community, is oral, versus it being written down or in texts, and then you learn it in school and things of that nature. We mobilized the world, and when we successfully mobilized the world, guess what happened in 1990 when Nelson Mandela was released from prison and all the exiles began to come back home, because successfully the apartheid state was sanctioned. It got sanctioned. They did not stay in Africa. They did not stay in all these West African countries to become nuisance and stealing and prostituting their children, selling them white powder, doing all kinds of atrocities to the citizens of those countries that they had gone to. Now things are being dumped down our throats because they opened their gates, and when they opened their gates, they actually put us in cages in their countries. No, that does not suit the propaganda. But now the question is why the ANC is adamant, because I think every South African and an ANC member that is experiencing every little evil that we are experiencing due to illegal foreigners in our country, particularly Nigerians, those useless people that make the biggest noise and say we contributed $61 billion. $61 billion when you're dodging bullets. Who had the time to be signing checks? Who had that time? And on top of that, we're still waiting for the proof of payment. We're still waiting for the proof of payment. We're still waiting for evidence that indeed that happened. If it did happen, that money never got to us. Now that we know Nigeria is a corrupt nation, clearly whoever was collecting those monies went into their own pockets, because we do not have any trace that that useless country called Nigeria contributed a cent to us. Neither did Ghana. Suddenly, Ghana also is coming out and saying things that never existed because they are propagandists, and somehow some of them are not all Ghanaians, by the way. Not all Ghanaians, but the leaders, your leaders, something ain't right up here. And I'm going to continue to say to the Ghanaians, don't bring this government back. Whenever you're going to national elections, these people must not lead you again. Whatever political party this is, do not bring it back again. They are propagandists, they are liars, probably worshippers of the devil, who knows. But anyways, the ANC. What's paralyzing the ANC in condemning Nigerians for selling white powder, kidnapping children, kidnapping girls, kidnapping women, kidnapping guys now? Why they can't condemn them and call them out? Because it is known the type of crime that they are committing here in South Africa. Selling of white powder. It is them. Every atrocity that you can imagine that is happening in South Africa is committed by Nigerians. But Luthuli House not once even summoned the High Commissioner of Nigeria to South Africa or the ambassador and say, hey, listen, you need to speak to your people. Why not? What do they have on you that is making the ANC fail or hamstrung in condemning these evils? 2, every time we are told there are about 500,000 people that were deported from South Africa since 2023. But when you ask how many Nigerians have been deported out of that 500,000, suddenly they lose their lips. So once again, it kind of like shows that the Luthuli House says, okay, take everybody else, leave the Nigerians alone. Once again, we had a minister coming from the ANC of intelligence. His wife was a drug dealer. Is that what's going on here? Is that the leeway, and is this the permission that Nigerians were given by the ANC? Because the ANC, whether we like it or not, it's still a governing body. It got 40% and then it collected some few crumbs here and there to form a government of national unity. So that means they still have some influence with all the departments. I almost said Oliver Schreiner. Leon Schreiber. What order did you get about Nigerians that are illegally in this country committing heinous crimes also in our country? Because I'm telling you right now, they are the biggest issue in our country. All the other nations are looking up to Nigerians and seeing what Nigerians are getting away with. And so they get a courage to also do heinous crimes against us, hijacking, hijacking of houses, hijacking of cars, you name it, they are committing those crimes. Zimbabweans on the streets mugging us. Not only mugging us, they also, if they're carrying a gun, they pull the trigger and they overkill. If they're stabbing you, they make sure that every single blow, you feel it, even afterlife. That's how much they hate a South African when they are mugging them. So all of these things are things that clearly they are seeing that Nigerians are getting away with some most heinous of crimes in this country, but the ANC says nothing. The government is not saying anything either. No nation is being summoned either by Luthuli House or the Union buildings and saying, guys, listen, this is enough. But other countries, it's easy for them to summon our diplomats to their own offices and chastise them and threaten them and say all kinds of stupidity to them, including how they're going to pull away the DSTV and MTV and all that nonsense that we don't actually care about as South Africans. The question is, if you are an honest member of the ANC, whether you are a leader or you are in government or you are a branch member, you should ask these critical questions. Why aren't you saying anything? Because we are under siege. Doesn't the ANC realize that we are under siege? The ANC does not realize that all of this that is happening has given birth to South Africans that are saying, okay, if you are going to fail, then we are going to take control. Rightfully so. Remember, the people shall govern. And that's exactly what March and March is about. That's exactly what Insizwa Nomtsizwa is all about. Operation Tutula is all about. And they have said it. Where there is a vacuum that is being left by the government, we, the people of South Africa, must take leadership. But no, you are threatened. Suddenly you are coming up with all kinds of, and you, in the midst of all of that, you're still not condemning the suspects. You are not deporting the suspects. 500,000 illegal foreigners were deported from South Africa. Of course, SADC region, easy. What about Nigerians? What about Nigerians? Why are they still here? Why do they feel entitled to be here? And I can tell you right now, South Africans, if they get out of hand, I'm not saying they're going to get out of hand. If South Africans had to get out of hand, Nigerians will be the target. The Nigerians will be that they will all go to Hillbrow, Berea, Yeovil, Belleville, Point Road, and everywhere where there's a high saturation of Nigerians. Kunyiwe. You are putting Nigerians in danger against South Africans. I'm talking about Luthuli House, the ANC. If anything had to happen, and I hope nothing like this ever happens, but South Africans are unpredictable when they have had enough. You know that. But why aren't you doing anything about the Nigerians that continue? They're still selling drugs. Despite of all the stuff that is happening, they are still doing it. You know why they are doing it? Because you are quiet. You are enabling them. And then when South Africans touch them, suddenly, oh, now South Africans are in the wrong. South Africans feel helpless. And now the only way they can gain their strength is through numbers. And they know exactly where to go to. Right now, South Africans are talking about possible poisoning by Somalis and Ethiopians, Bangladeshis and Pakistanis of the products some South Africans actually depend on to send a message that if you do this, we'll retaliate this way. Where is the intelligence? Are there intelligence that are going to these plaza shops and doing regular testings of these products that they are selling so that South African life is preserved? While South Africans take to the streets and saying, go home? Is that what you guys are doing? No, you're not doing that. Why are you not doing that? So it's a lot, guys. And all of this, it is the ANC's fault. Anything and everything that is going to happen, and I'm sure even scholars in the near future, far future, will blame the ANC. They will say the ANC is the cause of what happened to South Africa. And they will be correct. History will judge you very harshly because you are complacent and complacent at the same time. The question is, why? What did you promise them? What did they threaten you with that is making you feel so hamstrung in condemning them in particular? Another one, we are seeing him, yeah, the one that leads the Red Berets. When he speaks, you can almost tell that, sir, there are strings attached on your back and somebody is pulling them. Because whatever is coming out of the mouth is no longer pro-South African anymore. It's no longer pro-South African anymore. You can tell that he is speaking through the mouth of whoever has given him the script. We don't know what happened in the background before all these strings were attached. So we are sold, in other words. Is that what is going on here in this country? South Africans are sold. We are the tender. Who's the highest bidder that bought us? Who won the bid? This is crazy if you think about it. So the ANC has some answering to do. What did you do to our country? Why can't you condemn the obvious? But it's easy for you to condemn us for being killed, being kidnapped, being hijacked. We're the ones who get chastised for being good citizens, persevering, and hoping that, oh, this government is going to create a conducive environment for investors to come into the country, and then jobs are created. Entrepreneurs are also born out of the conducive environment. That's what we've been doing. We've been helping you. We've been helping you. But no, you turn around and then you blame us. You blame us for what? What have we done to you? Because it's quite clear that Luthuli House hates South Africans, especially black South Africans. The poorer you are, the more the ANC hates you. This is crazy. But anyways, hopefully somebody brave enough in the ANC who is honest will come and say, hey, listen, guys, this is what's going on. But time will tell. Nothing stays hidden forever. What you do in the dark will be revealed in the light. And South Africans are not going to be happy. The 30th of June 2026 is fast approaching now. We are on the 1st of June. 29 days to go. 29 days to go. Tick tock, tick tock. And I'm telling you, if South Africans had to really retaliate, Nigerians are in trouble. Your favorites are definitely in trouble with South Africans. Do some condemnation. Call ambassadors, high commissioners. Tell them to bust these people back to Nigeria. I'm telling you, they are the enablers that gives courage to all the other nations that are doing the rubbish in this country because you say nothing. Anyways, fellow South Africans, I don't know what you think. I'm sure this is a question you all have been asking, but we can't quite express the question itself. But we can tell there is something in the air when it comes to ANC, South Africa, and the African continent. We've been sold. And they've been convinced by propaganda that is being spread by their brotherhood on the continent. Now they're saying we're no longer Africans. Listen, we don't care what you say. We actually don't care. We South Africans, and we are proud South Africans. If you want to cut us off the continent, yeah, you can only do it in your head. You know that, right? But it doesn't take away the fact that we are on the African continent and we are Africans. But we are South Africans first. Anyways, I will leave this video right here. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. And we'll talk a little bit later. Oh, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry returns today. I believe we are going to have MKP MP Ushongwe. I forgot his name. Nkuleko Shongwe, I think, who's going to be testifying about some very damning things about Major General Khan. That's going to be explosive. I cannot wait to hear what exactly happened in KwaZulu-Natal when he was summoned there, because that's how I looked at it. It was a summon to tell him to stop choking them, allegedly. But yeah, we are back, and it doesn't also look like the president is going to extend the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. But I am saying, South Africans, we need to be on standby as well. Even if it means we have like a private commission of inquiry, like private prosecution type of situation. If Ramaphosa says, no, this is I don't know. We need to find a way to make sure that the rot in this country is it's like cut off so that we can start from scratch. Somebody said, we are resetting. I agree with that. South Africa needs to reset. And I've said this about the police and every other department that is rotten to the core in this country, that we need to overhaul, complete overhaul. And of course, this country, like I said, South Africans, they don't mind burning it to the ground and then restart it, rebuild the country. That's South Africans. And the ANC know this very, very well. But let's see what the light reveals, because time will definitely tell. Guys, please, whatever you do, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and defend this country with everything you've got. Everything you've got. I mean, everything you've got. I'll see you later. Goodbye.